and on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT. For those of you that were a second off here, once again, a welcome to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT where you're listening, and on WakeUpCallDT.com where you're also listening on our homepage of our website. And, of course, you are watching on Facebook Live on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. 5 locations for you in Syracuse, New York, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, 324 West Water Street, and their newest location on 208 North Townsend Street, the Holly Green Cafe, which just expanded their dining room to have some pretty awesome seating, and I'll be taking you through that on social media this week, so make sure you're close to us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. With that being said, get yourself some pumpkin spice chai. That's a DT special. You can get it at every location and for mobile pickup. The DT special, my pick on the menu at Cafe Kubal is the pumpkin spice chai. I get mine with almond milk. You can get yours however you'd like to get it today at any of the locations as well as for mobile pickup. With that being stated, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. It's time to speak with Eric Crume. Crume is here with me. He is here with his daughter, Jada Armani. You might hear her during the show. 3 things he loves most about her: her personality, how she bonds with people, and the joy she brings to his life. So I'm very happy to have Jada right here with us as well. Jada Armani, 3 years old, and Eric Crume's pride and joy. Crume played for Syracuse, and he's one of the pride and joys that Syracuse had on the defensive line. He spent some time in the NFL. And above all things, I consider him a friend and somebody that I truly have built a bond with when he came to Syracuse through his time here, and more than anything after he finished up. So our relationship and our friendship has only grown and gotten better. It's one of the things I'm very, very grateful for this morning, and we have him on the show. Crume, how are we doing today?
I'm good. Good morning, good people.
So happy to have you here, Crume. Jada and you are hanging out. What makes it, like, how does Jada make watching Syracuse football easier for you?
Because she gives me all the reaction. She feel my emotion, because that's, like, even her and my wife, I'm real passionate, so even if I'm in the living room, they can hear me in the bedroom. Like, when that play happened, oh, man, like, what happened? I'm like, oh, they just threw an interception or something. It be seeming like somebody trying to break in our house or something. It'd be a play. Yeah, I hear Jada come running. Daddy.
And the thing that's crazy is, I would say right now that they could use Jada's emotion on the team right now. They could use her energy. This team has some crazy juxtaposition, and we're going to discuss it. Syracuse leads the nation in 2 categories, but they couldn't be more opposite on ends of the spectrum. Syracuse leads Division 1A FBS all schools that are currently competing. Syracuse leads the entire country of college football Division 1A FBS in takeaways with 14, split between fumble recoveries and interceptions. 14 takeaways lead the nation in just 4 games. Syracuse also leads the nation in sacks allowed with 21 sacks in 4 games. 5.25 sacks averaged allowed per game. Crume, you know that teams are either built or destroyed by how you play in the trenches, offensive and defensive line. The defensive line and the defense as a whole leads the nation in takeaways. The offensive line and the quarterback, because I put some onus on them, lead the nation in sacks with over 20 in 4 games. Can a team be more juxtaposed than this team of Syracuse, leading the nation in sacks allowed, but also leading the nation in takeaways?
I think it goes with the perfect story of the season of missed opportunities. You get the ball back a lot of times, you do nothing with it. Like, I don't know if you have the number. How many points have they scored off those turnovers? That's a lot of key to the victories. If they got the points off the turnovers, they probably have 2 more wins. So, and then we all know, like me being a defensive lineman, you get a sack on the drive, it takes the drive down like 30% of being successful. Like when I was in the NFL, it takes it all the way down to be like 20 or 30% chance of them scoring after 1 sack on the drive. Just 1 sack, because it puts them behind the sticks. So now you can't stick to your script of offense. So it goes from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 15. So now we know where you passing, or you trying to get back on track with a short pass or a screen or a draw. So it limits you once you get off track. But it's scary. They can't block my grandma right now.
And I think that's the quote of the day. They can't block my grandma right now. And if your grandma's as spicy and fiery as my G-Mama, has been, and now she is up in heaven, I don't think anybody can block them. So the reality of it all is Syracuse, with 14 turnovers this season to lead the nation, has done little to nothing with them. Syracuse has forced 82 turnovers since the start of the 2017 season, which ties with Miami for the most during that stretch. However, Miami's in a lot better footing than Syracuse is with both teams in the ACC. Syracuse does not capitalize off these turnovers, hence the issue, and something that you just brought up. And you asked the question of, well, are they scoring off of them? And the answer, more often than not, is no. Syracuse had a stretch against Duke where Duke turned the ball over on downs. Duke fumbled and it was recovered by Syracuse. Duke fumbled again and it was recovered by Syracuse. And there was an interception. In that span of turnover on downs, fumble recovery, interception, Syracuse amounted 0 points in a stretch that could have been 28 points if it's a touchdown and an extra point. If you had some 2-point conversions in there, you could get to 30 or more, at least a field goal or two. Syracuse came away with 0 points on 4 possessions that ended with turnover on downs, fumble, and interception. Syracuse against Duke got nothing in that span.
I think even if you score on 2 of them, you win the game. You get momentum. You change their whole plan up now because the pressure is back on them. That's the biggest thing. Even like when I watched the first game against North Carolina, you got to win the games that are given to you, basically. You can't not win games when you got that many turnovers. You force that many turnovers. Like, I've experienced it even when I was at Syracuse. Like, I would say, what was that? Clemson, my senior year at Notre Dame, we caused 5 turnovers and lost both games. You got to win those games when you win the turnover battle. Or 5. You got 5 extra possessions. You shouldn't lose a game like that. Should not.
And I think the thing that is egregious is Duke fumbled the ball 4 times in this game against Syracuse. They fumbled 4 times. They lost 3 of those fumbles. They fumbled 3 times in a span of four consecutive possessions. They fumbled 3 times. So they fumbled 3 times on 4 possessions, lost 3 of the 4 times they fumbled, and threw an interception, and turned the ball over on downs, and yet still scored just shy of 40 points, had 2 backs that had over 160 yards, and beat Syracuse by double digits. Explain that to me, Eric, as a former D1 player, a former Syracuse player, a former defensive player. How does an offense win a game with 4 fumbles, 3 lost, 3 fumbles on 4 drives, an interception, and a turnover on downs?
I know it's going to sound crazy. That tells me more about the offense than the defense. Because, like I tell people, even like with the kids I train, the other team, 4 or 5 turnovers, even they got 40 points. Like, how many possessions did Duke have? That's when you got to start looking deeper into the numbers and actually watching the game and evaluate what's going on. If I gave you ball back 4 times, they still able to score 40 points. How many possessions did Duke have as well? Or how was their time possession? Or was our offense of time possession? That's one of the bad things about the offensive scheme they got, too, is when they're not getting big, they get behind the sticks because they don't really have a lot of underneath passing game. I see they go for a lot for the big plays, and the running game has been shoddy. So you try to speed it up, you get incompletion on first down, now you behind the sticks, another one. So the defense is back out in 2 or 3 plays off 30 seconds of rest because everything was a stoppage. It wasn't like you running the ball, huddling back up, 30 seconds off, and you get the guy a chance to rest. We trying to go so fast that when you get behind the sticks, now the defense only got 40 seconds to rest. You punt after a minute and 20 seconds for offensive possession. So those guys get worn down.
And I'm going to tell you straight up here, speaking with Eric Crume here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, Duke, despite turning the ball over on downs, despite fumbling away 3 possessions and throwing an interception, despite multiple times where they gave up their offensive possessions, they still had 36 first downs to Syracuse's 11 in the game. The efficiency of Duke on third down was 12 for 17. Syracuse was 2 for 12.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse ran a total of 57 plays in the game. Syracuse ran it. No, it was less than that. Syracuse ran a total of 52 offensive plays in the game. Duke ran a total of 102 plays in the game. Duke just shy of running double the amount of plays that Syracuse ran. Duke 102, Syracuse 52. I think that says a lot. Time of possession, 39 minutes and 43 seconds for Duke, 20 minutes and 17 seconds for Syracuse. Duke held on to the ball for almost 3 out of 4 quarters in the game.
See what I just was saying? I didn't know none of those numbers before you just said that. And what I just said, you got to look deeper into it. What's the time possession? You can't stop nobody for 40 minutes. I don't care how good your defense is. They have Division I guys just like you. They practice just like you. They game plan. You're not stopping nobody for 3 quarters. You tired. You exhausted. Like 100-something plays for a defense, you're asking way too much out of a defense. And you only get 50 plays off with 3 or 4 extra possessions after those turnovers. That's all you can muster up. So your time possession, you're only averaging, about 2 minutes to drive, so your defense is exhausted. If you only got, 17 minutes of actual possession time, and how many possessions did they end up getting? Do you have that number by chance of the exact possession? So you're exhausted. You can't ask those guys for any more than what they gave out. Like, that's why I said it shows deeper than the offense than the defense when you hear those numbers, even if you didn't watch the game. They got 38 points, but they turned the ball over 4 or 5 times. That tells me about the offense.
Yeah, so Syracuse, as far as the number of possessions, this is how it started. Syracuse had a touchdown on the first drive of the game, and after that, in the first half, they went like this. Punts, 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 so that's 4 punts in a row, a turnover on downs, another punt in the end of the first half. So Syracuse had 8 possessions in the first half, and then Duke was able to condense it. Syracuse had 5 possessions in the second half. So Syracuse on 13 possessions amounted. So on 13 possessions had the ball for 20 minutes. And Duke,
a minute some change.
So you look at Duke on the other side of it. Duke had touchdown, turnover on downs, field goal, fumble, punt, fumble, touchdown, which went to Syracuse, a fumble, a touchdown, and a touchdown. They had 9 possessions in the first half. In the second half, they had 5 possessions as well. So Duke had 14 possessions go almost 40 minutes. Syracuse had 13 possessions go 20 minutes. They only had 1 more possession than Syracuse.
That's the game right there. That's like
They had 1 more possession, and they held the ball for 20 more minutes with only 1 more possession in the. I don't think there's any stat that's more undeniably clear than 14 possessions 40 minutes, 13 possessions 20 minutes, 14 possessions 36 first downs, 13 possessions 11 first downs. I don't think there's anything more clear than the fact that Duke commanded the clock, did more with their team, and they ran the ball, which allowed them to have an almost 5-minute drive in the fourth quarter that closed the game out.
Yeah, and that's why I said Syracuse was not running the ball either, because you only got 11 first. So you only getting 1 first down per drive. So the max you're really playing is, 7, 8 plays, and the defense is back up. So every 8 plays, basically the defense is back up. How do you expect to win a football game like that? You have to have some type of – I know the passing is cool and all that, but you got to be able to run the football effectively at every level, even though I know it's a passing league, NFL, college. But majority of successful teams have some type of run game because you can control the clock. And when you get into your 4-minute offense, when you got to close the game out, that's why Syracuse struggles a lot in the red zone, because they can't run the football. You run the spread offense on the 5-yard line. Where are you going with the ball? There's no room to operate in 5 yards. Straight ahead, they don't got no power packages to get the ball straight ahead. It's a lot of gimmicky stuff or trying to do something. I've never seen them run the ball straight ahead and just pound the team out to a drive.
Yeah, and the thing is, they got to run the ball. They got to run it successfully. I think the issue is not necessarily in putting the onus on Sean Tucker. They don't commit to the run. They don't try to run. And in the one game where they opened it up with the run, and one of the only times I saw it in recent history in the Dino Babers era was in the game against Georgia Tech. First series, ran the ball, Sean Tucker. Second series, ran the ball, Sean Tucker. He had 100 yards on 15 carries in the first half. He didn't lose any yards. He netted 100. He gained 100. And, that said something about it. Syracuse does not start off games running the ball. And in the one game that they did, they won it. So it would be good to see something like that. And I think about it like this. If your offensive line isn't blocking anybody, what would you rather have? A quarterback dropping back and having to block for that, or a quick handoff or a pitch and let the running back go? Then the offensive line may not be doing the greatest in the run block or the pass blocking, but when you toss the ball to your running back, it's out there quicker, and hopefully he's past the line at that point. So if you got, your tight ends can block downfield, your receivers and whatnot, I would rather, if a team is struggling on the offensive line like Syracuse is for the second year in a row, being last in Division 1A FBS football, well, first in sacks allowed, however you want to look at it, they're first in giving up the sacks, which puts them last offensively in the nation. The reality of it all is, if your offensive line isn't blocking a fly, then the best thing for me is to give the ball to the running back, because the chances of them getting out of it, to me, is better than the quarterback getting out of it. So I would rather just toss the ball to the running back if it's going to be a free-for-all back there, and there's not going to be much that's going to... I mean, there was one of the plays this season where there was a guy that came on the edge. He wasn't even touched when he came around to get after the quarterback. And some of it's on the quarterback, and some of it's on the offensive line. It's not all on the offensive line. Tommy DeVito made some decisions that obviously didn't work out the best. I want to preface this by saying I respect every Syracuse player. I appreciate them. When I say that there's issues on the offensive line and on the quarterback, I am not trying to vehemently attack anybody. I respect and appreciate and have relationships with the Chris Elmores and the Aaron Services and the Tommy DeVitos and Rex Culpeppers of the world. I'm just stating an obvious statistical fact. And if you're going to have trouble blocking, then I would rather you run the ball and pitch it and get it the hell out of there than have somebody drop back in a condensing pocket that's condensing a second after the ball snaps.
I'm with you. Well, the one thing I say about, I feel you on the critiquing thing too, is that it's kind of hard because you got relations with people, but stating the obvious is stating the obvious. That's just, like, if numbers tell you something, you could like a person so much, but if the numbers telling you you're giving up 5 sacks a game, something ain't right. It's not saying, they're not good football players or anything like that, but it's reality. Another thing I see is that they try to stick to the script too much. Okay, run your scheme is perfectly fine. Of course you want to run your scheme, but your scheme is suited for, I would say, super high-level athletes. Not taking anything from Syracuse, but the conference we in, we're not top 5 elite athletes as far as talent-wise, just athletically gifted. Not football, because some people are super talented and not that good at football. But the type of athletes I learned when we went to the ACC, we were not the same athletically as Florida State was. It's just reality. It's not no shot at me or any of my team. We were not on that level athletically. Not saying just football-wise. So you have to put your players in position to succeed. You need to get more time possession. Your guys on the outside not outrunning the guys from Clemson on the outside. Let's just be real. So you have to do things to put yourself in position to win. Okay, let's control the clock. You shouldn't have 14 possessions only get the ball 20 minutes. It's no way possible you're gonna win a football game unless you scoring big plays every other two plays. Unless you got Tyreek Hill running them fly routes where you're gonna outrun everybody. It's not okay. Let's condense it down. Even though I watch their passing game, they don't have a lot of underneath passes. I see a lot of fly routes and trying to get if they got a one-on-one, just throw a D to the where's the drag routes, getting the guys to space, getting the receivers in rhythm. Even if you're not gonna have the run game, put more on the short passing game, quick slants to get you back on par. So you'll be 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 4, so you have all your playbook available. But you drop them back, then you get sacked, guys, 1st and 18. So now you're trying to get back on track the next 2 downs to try to compete 3rd down. So it's a lot of little things you see when you watch them play football. Sometimes you got to go back to just the old football. Let's go straight ahead. Hey, our pass not working. Let's run the football. At least we can give our defense a break, put ourselves in position, play the field position game sometimes. We try to aim so much for the big play sometimes that we don't just focus on, having a good methodical drive. When the last time you seen Syracuse have a 10-play drive? Really? Like, just methodical.
Yeah.
It's either hit or miss. Yeah. Big play or punt for the most part.
Conversation with Eric Crume on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's frustrating. And the Dino Babers era is in its 5th year. How much longer, what are the legs on this, Crume? You've seen positives and negatives when you were at Syracuse. What leg does Dino have to stand on? Does he have a leg to stand on right now? What can you say about the Dino Babers era as we are in year number 5, and it's 4-8, 4-8, 10-3. Granted, that was with the players that were recruited by Scott Schaefer and his staff as well. 5-7, and some people are wondering if Syracuse will win a game for the rest of the season now.
I know he definitely should have at least another year because the circumstances of the state of the country, it was hard for every team to prepare, and you didn't know 1 minute you're playing, 1 minute you're not. So you got to factor stuff like that, even though everybody's on the same circumstance. So you still got to factor that into it. And then it still was they had the outlier year, which was 10, like you said, won 10 games. So is it just an outlier year, or like I thought they were going to build on that? They got ranked the next year, and I think they crumbled towards the expectation. I think he's a heck of a coach, but I think they need to start adjusting more instead of just sticking to the script all the time. Like when I watch him, they'll realize some of the things they're doing is not working, but they still stick to it. Like even if they get a big lead, they really can't close the opponents out because they can't run the football. Or you get ahead, you can't get that time possession. But I think he at least has another year. Like I would be excited to see with another year because you can't say, well, I ain't got my guys. You've been in 5 years. So all these guys are your guys.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, you got Schaefer recruits and all this, like, and you had your best season with some of Schaefer recruits. That's one of the touchy things, too. Like Eric Dungeon, them guys were Schaefer guys. So, so it was like, okay, now you got your guys. We waiting to see what you're going to do, and it's not panning out. But you still got to think, though, he did something nobody did in a long time, which was the 10-win season. So I thought that bought him some more time as well. And with the COVID, I think he should at least be getting another year, 2, to see what is going on. But I think he has to have to win the season and the next season to still have a job because I know he would get picked up fast because his offensive mind, even if he was on the market. But I think he should at least have a year or 2 left to show what he can do. Now you got all your guys. And if next year, if the world comes back to, somewhat normalcy, we can see what he really can do with all his guys and under normal circumstances.
Well, and the reality is, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different results. They fired their defensive coordinator. They brought in the 3-3-5 and Tony White. They, have shifted around their offensive coordinator numerous times, and they brought in somebody this time around. So, to see the way that things are going and where this, is it a talent thing right now? Is it a coaching thing right now? What is it right now? In your opinion, Crume, who is the spotlight on? Is it Babers? Is it the OC? Is it when we look at because the defense is doing a good job. I'm not going to put much of anything on the defense. They're tired. 40, like you said, you're on the field for 40 minutes. You're going to make mistakes. Like at that point, it's just ridiculous. So, who is it on? Is it the players? Is it the coaches? Where are you putting the concern right now?
I think it's a happy mix of like everything. You can't. With team sports, everybody plays a part in whether it succeeds or fails. Like players got to take some onus. You got to play better. Might have to put a little extra work in. Coaches got to take their part. Like I picture coaches like a company. Okay, you changed off offensive coordinator, so you fired 3 managers. At some point, it has to be some onus on the owner of the company if the company's still not succeeding. If Dino is the offensive guy that you say he is, the coordinator shouldn't be just a fall guy because I'm pretty sure he has majority of what the play calls are going to be on offense because that's his specialty. So it can't just keep being the coordinator's fault. That sometimes you're the head guy, you're the overseer. So if things are failing under your watch, you got to take a lot of that culpability. Like when you won the 10 games, you got a lot of the praise, so it comes with it, just like playing quarterback. When you're doing well, everybody love you. When you're doing bad, it's your quarterback's fault. So you have to take the praise and the blame at the same time with it. And like you said, injuries too, it's out of everybody's control. Like, offensive line has been hit with injuries, just lost your best player going to the draft. Good luck, Cisco, as well. But lose your best player to injuries. A lot of your top guys are hurt.
Yeah, so, I mean, and that's the thing. We talk about Andre Cisco. You brought him up. I was certain, as certain as you can be, not 100%. I mean, nothing's 100%, but I was very, very, very confident, 99+%, that Andre Cisco was heading to the NFL after this season. After facing an injury, I don't think that there was any, I don't think there was any thought that he wasn't going to go to the NFL. I thought he was going to do it if he played the whole season in a healthy way. What are your thoughts and what is your take? And did you feel the same way that as soon as he was eligible, which is year number 3, that, Cisco would be gone?
Oh, definitely. You got to strike when the iron hot. That guy's phenomenal. He has a talent that you really can't coach, like a knack for the ball. Like, some guys just got to, I would say, like Eric Reed, Tyrann Mathieu. Those guys, it's just a skill you kind of born with to be around the football. And for him to do that at Syracuse and be an All-American, 2 years in a row, and now he's hurt, so now he has to protect his future, which I totally understand because you got to get something out of college because they're using you, so you might as well use them now. You go pursue your dream. So I hope Shamar the best of luck, and I hope it pans out for him and get healthy. But I support his decision 100%.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. There's other guys that are going to be finishing up at Syracuse and guys that could potentially be finishing up at Syracuse, seeing how the season's been going and how well the defense has played, but that the offense has not aided them or done much of anything. I mean, giving the offense more possessions has just basically given the offense more opportunities where they've made more mistakes. So they've had more opportunities to not do what they need to do, which has been really unfortunate and I'm sure frustrating for the defense. So when we look at this and, where players are at as far as their year, McKinley Williams will be finished. Rex Culpepper will be finished up with the season. Aaron Service will be done. Josh Black will be done, as well as Nykeem Johnson, Kingsley Jonathan, Chris Elmore will all be finishing up. Believe it or not, he finally started getting utilized last year, and he's done after this year. Aaron Hackett, the tight end on the team. So, all of those guys are done eligibility-wise. They will be finished. But, looking at some of the other guys, the Taj Harrises, the Trill Williams of the world, what are your thoughts on some of those guys? Do you think that probably just as notable or right under that with Andre Cisco is the other half of the Wonder Twins, Trill Williams, would you expect him to be gone after this year too?
It depends. Like I always tell people, if that's what you want to do, go shoot your shot and try to achieve your dream, but don't do it on a false sense of hope or listen to the wrong advice. Because you kind of get a gauge of it. It's not like with all the social media stuff. You kind of know what the feel is for your NFL future and prospects. And I just want the guys to be certain when they do make that chance. Because a lot of guys, listen to the wrong people or get that false sense where it'd be a non-credible sight. Say you were a mid-round draft pick or a high draft pick, then you go undrafted. Now it crushes your confidence and all that. But if you got the faith and believe in your ability and it's high enough where you can get your opportunity and get a team to actually invest in you. From me playing NFL and know how the money goes, you want to be a decent round draft pick so they can have something to invest in you that they want to keep you around. So that's what my advice would be. Don't just go out there foolishly if you're a 7th round undrafted. It's cool. I'm not saying because a lot of great undrafted late round picks, but you want to get all the opportunity you can in NFL because I know it's business at the end of the day. So you don't want to go in there is where, I'm undrafted. They tell you you can do this, you can make the team, but they don't have no investment in you, so it's nothing to get rid of you. But if I gave you a $400,000 signing bonus, I'm going to want to keep you around because I just gave you almost $500,000.
Yeah, that's true, unless you're Le'Veon Bell. So the reality of it all is the depth chart has been released. Rex Culpepper is the starter. Dylan Markowitz, who hasn't played a game, and Jacobian Morgan, who hasn't played a game at quarterback. They are interchangeable according to the depth chart at second string. That's who we have. What do you think about the quarterback situation and the fact that Dino Babers said to me that he doesn't know what his 3, 4, and 5 quarterbacks can do because he doesn't rep them in practice? And he said we can go back and watch the film. I'm paraphrasing, but he said we can go back and watch the high school film like we watched it before, but that's all we know about them because they play on the scout team. I was very concerned.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way saying that.
Yeah, so go into your thoughts on that, because I would believe that it's your job to know your 8th string, especially in a world where we have coronavirus going on.
And even if you know what people can do, we in practice all day. It's people who show up on scout team, we be like, that guy going to be a player when he get his chance. And, it's not like you oblivious just because they might not getting reps in the first or the second string. You know what guys can do. Well, I'd have been on both sides of it. I've been that scout team guy. They be like, when he get his chance, he gonna do his thing. Or I've been the guy that say like, well, my man can play. He just hasn't got a shot yet. So him saying he don't know what they can do is kind of like, I don't believe that. Now he might be doing it to protect them because if they might not be that good, or he don't want to throw his guys on the bus. But it's hard to believe he don't know what guys can do. You went out and recruited these guys. You know what people are capable of, and they've been on campus all year, in practice. It's not, that's like even you. If somebody's in your studio every day, just because they're not on the mic, you get a sense of what they can do. Yeah. Even if you that's just kind of like, that's why I was like, I don't kind of believe that, not calling me a liar or anything, but you know what people can do. If you've been a scout team running back all year and you've been hitting us for 20 yards every other play, I'm pretty sure we think you can play. You just might not got your opportunity yet. Like, I would say give it in. Like when George Morris was there, he used to be scout team. We like, George can play. He just never got his opportunity at the right spot. You know what I'm saying? Or like, McFarland as well. He was playing safety, but he was a scout team running back. That's how he ended up going to running back, because they seen he can run the ball effectively. So it's hard to say when people can't play or do all that. Like Adonis, Adonis just didn't get his shot, but Adonis can play his tail off. Moore is the truth. Yeah. Just because the world, so it's hard for me to say what people, you don't know what people can do.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly about Adonis, too. One of my good friends as well, and I appreciate him very much, and he never got a fair shake at the end of it all at Syracuse.
Yeah, he was I got love for all those guys, so I don't want to say him, but, the guy, AD was the guy to me. If he'd ever got his chance, they just didn't utilize him right.
Well, that's the thing. When they made him the human wrecking ball and they made all the packages for him, he was 70%, 90% effective, and then they run the ball out at the end of the game, and then they stopped doing it. It's why would you stop doing something that works? I don't get it.
He should have been getting 15 touches a game, though. That's what I'm saying. I know what he can do. That's why when Dino said he don't know what the guy can do, I can't believe that. You know what guys can do.
It's we don't rep them, so we could just go back and watch their high school film. If they've been with you in your room, you should not be watching their high school film. Their high school film happened. You got them right in front of you. That's like saying, I talked to a girl on FaceTime that lived in Pennsylvania, but now that her and I are face to face, I don't know what she's all about. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You know what they're about.
That's like me. My wife knows what I can do around the house when I'm capable. She knows if I can fix this and if I can't. Just because I'm not a handyman or I haven't been repping it, come on, this was that's the stuff that concern you. It's something to that. You don't just say, I don't know what this guy can do. Now, it'd be different. You say, I don't know how he's going to play in game action. Now, that's a total different conversation. But saying you don't know what somebody can do.
Yeah, it's a different world. And it doesn't make sense. And, again, and I'll be playing it on Saturday so people can hear it and see it and kind of go from there. The offensive line last year, a huge concern to me was when Aaron Service told me 2 weeks before the season, I said, hey, Aaron, where are you playing? Who's where? And he said, oh, we don't know. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the coaches haven't decided where they like everybody right now. So currently, we're kind of playing all over the place. And I was like, but it's 15 days before the season starts. and you saw that unfold in a 5-7 season. This season, it's not any better. Guys have musical chairs around the offensive line. On the depth chart for the game against Liberty, Matt Bergeron is left tackle. He's played right tackle. Chris Elmore has played 952 positions for Syracuse, and I commend him for being amazing at it. He's left guard right now. Carlos Vettorello is at center. Darius Tisdale is at right guard. Aaron Service, who's played left tackle and center, is now the right tackle. Last year, they didn't know where the guys were going to be, and it turned into 5-7. This year, they still don't know where the guys are going to be, and they are 1-3. What are your thoughts on the offense? Like Coach Kavanaugh, they talk about Coach Kavanaugh building bridges. He sends a bunch of guys to the NFL. But I'm sitting here scratching my head saying, last year this offensive line didn't know where they were playing 15 games before the season. This year, they still don't know concretely what position they're going to be at from week to week. That, to me, has got to be a glaring issue. It concerned me last year going into the year, and it turned into sacks and Syracuse being worst in the nation. This year, they still don't know where everybody's going to be, and it's turned into sacks and being the worst in the nation. I would believe that the proof is in the pudding right now. Wouldn't you, Eric?
Oh, of course. The thing I would say that it get lost in a lot of stuff like that from me being the former line is the chemistry as a group that they don't have. Because there's so many plug-and-play parts and nobody knows what they're going at. When you play up front, you got to have that camaraderie and chemistry with your other guys. Like, I would speak for, like, my D-line. Like, we're all still, like, super close friends to this day. Like, we were texting with Coach Dowse yesterday, all this in the group chat. Or, like, you got to be able to trust your teammate and your guy next to you and get a sense of what they good at and what they not so y'all can play off each other because this is a group effort. If you got 4 people doing something right in the offensive line, all it takes is one to have a leak or a mess up to mess up the whole blocking scheme. They don't get a chance to establish that chemistry because, I don't know where I'm playing at. I'm really a guard, but they got me playing right tackle. So now I'm uncomfortable. Or, you know what I'm saying? So they don't get a chance to build as a group and get that chemistry and get rolling. A lot of the good groups have been together for a while and they built that chemistry. Okay, he's a great down blocker or he's a great pass blocker. I might not be that good, but I know I got him to help me. He can cover me up. Or something small like that. It's cool you got the linemen that are going to the draft and everything else, but I don't know how many people gonna keep going. You keep giving up 5 or 6 sacks a game. Who's gonna keep going to the draft? You keep giving up 6 sacks.
Yeah, and I think the frustrating thing, and last week to this week, we saw Aaron Service was the left tackle and Matt Bergeron was the right tackle. Now they flipped the two. So, like I said, they're still making these changes, still doing these things. It's frustrating. If you were Aaron Service, I know you played on the defensive line, but, as a lineman, if you were asked to play center, play left tackle, play right tackle, go back to left tackle, no, now right tackle, no, now you got to be center, no, now you're at left tackle. If you're Aaron Service and this is your final season and you would like to play in the NFL, how would you feel right now having to play 3 out of 5 positions on the line?
See, the thing is so tricky because it can actually help him because it shows the versatility, but as a football player, you're frustrated. You never get comfortable and get in your zone. It's like me as a lineman, it's like everything with sports. You got to get in your zone and build that, build your rhythm up. Okay, I'm at center. I've been doing good. Now you get to actually focus on one position and fix those weaknesses at that position and build on those strengths instead of, okay, I'm really a center. Now I'm playing tackle, so I got to change my kick step angle. Instead of going, might be a little louder, now I'm going more vertically back. I got to stay upright or, you know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different, each position has different nuances that you really need to focus on to get it done. Like we all like me, I play defensive line. Defensive line is mostly common the same thing, but it's different stuff you would do at the end that you would do at a tackle. Like I'm not worried about spilling so much as a tackle than you would do an end. The blocking scheme, they're not getting as many double teams. So it's so many things that can bother you. Okay, you're getting different looks. You're going against different type of athletes. You might have had a 330-pound defensive tackle you playing weak. Now you playing against a 250-pound defensive end who run a 4 or 5. So now you got to get back adjusted. So it can bother him. The mental is more than the position because it's messing with you. I can't get in my zone. I can't get comfortable. I don't know why I'm playing this week. So it starts to mess with your confidence because, hey, man, I could have made that play if I was still at center. That wouldn't have happened. Or the guy that you just positioned at, now you feel somebody else in, they messing up. Now you be like, man, I could have made that block. So it gets to messing with your mental mentality of football.
Yeah, and I can only imagine the amount of frustration that comes from that and having to be multiple. Like you said, it could work out to his advantage, showing versatility, but it's also wanting that consistency, wanting to, hone your skill and be really, really good at one of these positions to show a team instead of being here, there, and everywhere, especially as a redshirt senior spending 5 years at the school. Any final notes, Crume, that you have here today? We've talked about a lot of different things, but any thoughts that you have beyond that?
I'm sorry, just to piggyback on that, I forgot to say, and it's a big difference too when you lose it. While you're doing all that, you sacrifice for the team and losses. It's not like you moving around and we 4-0. It goes a little. Everything goes a little. Everything is great when you win it. When you lose, it's like we're not just staying in my same position. So you got to factor that in too.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Any other final thoughts beyond that?
Whew. It's gonna be a long rest of the way, people. So like I said, it's gonna be a long rest of the way.
So buckle up and get ready, folks. Hopefully, I will say that as much issue as we've had with a beautiful, technical difficulties that happen in the world, and the year 2020 has been an interesting year. As much as we have had these technical difficulties, what is worse? What Syracuse has put on the field, or the fact that we had to split this into 3 parts? So it was very interesting to be able to do that with you, but adversity is adversity. We overcome that. We hope Syracuse will overcome theirs. Crume, as always, I appreciate you. I send my love to your family, to the beautiful, wonderful ladies in your life, and shout out to Jada once again. And I look forward to catching up with you very soon. And I thank you as always for your time.
No problem. I forgot I got to shout you out. I forgot you, my fellow Libra, so I got to show some love to my fellow Libra today. You know, it's Libra season. Birthdays is coming up.
That's right. My birthday is less than a week away, October 21st.
Yeah, my birthday Sunday, so we Libras now. We out here. Birthday Sunday, Libras.
Yeah.
Got to give a shout out to you, Dan, and the family. Hope all is well. I got to give a special shout out to my man, Coach Dowse, my old D-line coach. He texted me yesterday, said I'm going Hollywood because I'm always on the podcast. So I got to give some love. Shout out to Coach Dowse and my D-line, the Grave Diggers. And that's about it. Good Libra season. Let's enjoy our birthdays and watch the rest of this wicked season.
That's right. It is Libra season. I love that, man. Now I'm on fire. Now I'm ready. And I got to tell you, that's Libra season and the whole Daniel and the Lion's Den and all that. I got a lion shirt, and I might have to wear that today for Libra season.
It is Libra season, man. we balance the world out. We have part lion in the scale, man. Ain't too many people could go both ways.
Yeah, so I love that. I appreciate that. I'm happy for the reminder. I needed it, and I appreciate you as always. I'll talk to you soon, Crume, okay?
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Take care. That coming once again. It is Libra season, folks. I love that. I feel that. I sense it. I needed to hear it today. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll wrap up today's show right after this.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here. which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure that you download their app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. You'll have their entire menu at your fingertips, and it will give you everything from their sandwiches to their pizzas to their homemade breads and homemade desserts, their quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, and so much more. Right there with you. Contactless pay on the app, and it'll give you an approximate time of when you can pick it up in the drive-up window where you don't even have to get out of the car. So, from having the entire menu at your fingertips, being extremely user-friendly and easy, contactless pay, everything right there on the app, a description of what's in everything, what's in every sandwich, on every pizza. You have all the information you need. You go on, sometimes you download an app, you're trying to look through stuff and it's not user friendly. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you can't figure out how to put stuff in, or they don't, it's not implemented the right way, so it's hard to find out, how do I do the pricing? How do I do this? Where do I add the tip? Well, when it comes to the Millhouse Market, it's extremely easy. It gives you all the information you need. You don't have to call and say, what's in this sandwich? What's in that sandwich? Do you have this? It's all there, easily put together right on the app. They did a tremendous job on the app, just like they do a tremendous job with all the food that comes through and with the service that they have. Thank you to the Millhouse Market for fantastic food, service, and going the extra mile for us at a time where people have been just drained of so much energy. In 2020, Millhouse Market, you've been there for us before, and you've been there for us in such a big way in a very, very trying year. And I cannot thank you enough for that. Millhouse Market, worth the drive every time to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. With that being stated, I want to thank my guests today, Papa Joe and Eric Crume. Fantastic conversations. Thank you for navigating with us here on Facebook Live as we had some type of spooky woo, something going on whenever we talked about something with Syracuse football that was a little bit, dicey. It would cut out. So we found a way to get through it. We navigated through it together. For those of you that are watching on the playback on Facebook and YouTube, you're not even going to see a difference. So thank you to everybody that navigated with us. We appreciate you so much. Cafe Kubal Studios, want to thank Cafe Kubal for all the fantastic things they do, including having the DT special, which I'm honored to have exclusively at Cafe Kubal. Pumpkin spice chai. I have mine with almond milk. You can have yours however you'd like it at Cafe Kubal. Any of their locations, 3501 James Street, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, 401 South Salina Street, 324 West Water Street, and their newest location on 208 North Townsend Street in the Holly Green Cafe with new indoor seating. So make sure you find your way to Cafe Kubal. You can find out where they're going to be in a neighborhood or business area near you by going to @Cafe Kubal on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's Kubal. And they will tell you their schedule, and I share that as well on my social media, and they'll deliver to your home if you're in Onondaga County. The delivery charge is free to have your items delivered to you from Cafe Kubal. So whether you're having it delivered to you, you're having them come to you in the mobile cafe, or you're going to them, very easy to get to and doing everything they can at a very unique time to go the extra mile for us. Shout out and a big thanks to Cafe Kubal. A big thanks to Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory for giving us the promo code DT20 to be used at maandpaspopcorn.com to get you 20% off. Avicoli's 10% off on myavicolis.com. AVS10, every little bit helps. And go to myavicolis.com and use the promo code AVS10. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Honda City of Liverpool, Trapper's Pizza Pub, and the Mill House Market once again, as well as our beverage of choice, which include Coca-Cola, Body Armor, Monster Energy, and Reign. Thank you to all of our fantastic partners here in Central New York and abroad. Thank you to you for being amazing. I appreciate you. I have nothing but love for you, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We navigated through adversity today, just as we do every single day. We can, we will succeed. I love you, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day. And I also want to give a shout out to all of our troops and to everybody that stands tall and gives a voice to those that have no voice and helps those to be free that are in chains. Thank you for that. Thank you for your service. And thank you to my family for being a part of that. I'll talk with you all soon. Be good.